Hey guys, all right, I want to demonstrate total URL flexibility, something we built into the system because people are asking for that for a lot of reasons, and also theme flexibility, okay? So kind of forgive me flipping back and forth because I've got to go between a file here and a bunch of pages here to make my points. But the reality check is that you have total control over how many pages you want to create in the root of the website and how many folders you want to create in the root and how many pages in the folders and how many subfolders you want to create and how many pages in those subfolders and how many subfolders you want to create with pages in those. Not just that, but if you want to create subdomains, do you want to put folder levels inside the subdomains? So you can put pages in the subdomain roots and folders with pages in them and subfolders with pages in them and subfolders with pages in them. So you can do this in any combination you want. So I want to show you that. And then the final piece to that is this. If you have more than one theme, if you have a number of themes, if you have a reason for it, you can switch between themes for all those subdomains. So you might do that if, let's say, you're doing real estate and all of the homes you're selling in Miami Beach, Florida, need to have a certain color scheme, a certain layout, and palm trees in the pictures and so on. So let's say you organize the theme for that. And who knows which one it is or which one you modeled to create it. Okay. But you selected a theme and you gave it a new name, something that you can easily recognize. And you can just use it, right? So there you go. By the way, yeah, I am getting a little hoarse from talking all the time, but that's okay. I'll overcome that. So having said that, let's go through it, right? Let's just go through it. So we're going to start here, okay? And we already have plenty of global variables, you know, what we need for the project. There are plenty in here. And the ones we're most concerned with are the options here for subdomain, folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, and page name, as well as the theme, okay? Then everything beyond that is the stuff we would expect, by the way, and that's this: city, keyword, and service. So for those of you who don't know, our very normal layout is this. It's city-service.domain.com/keyword.html. Now, of course, this is with HTTPS, okay? Everything with HTTPS. Every subdomain, every page inside a subdomain, all of it with HTTPS. Well, for a long time, this is the only format we gave for the links you were going to put into the sitemap. That is the bulk files, okay? And then some people came along and said, but does it have to be city-service, right? With keyword.html. We said it's a pretty good idea. And they said, yeah, but could it be anything else? And also, if we're doing this format all the time, then most of the pages we create are going to be in subdomains. What if we think for SEO, it would be good to have more pages in the root of the website than in the subdomains? Well, these are good points. So the first version of this that we made was an on-off switch called URL type, the type of URL. Guess how that worked? Instead of going city-service dot, okay, Control X, you could flip a switch. Sorry, flip a switch to make it do this now. So domain.com, so in the root, you'd have a folder, city-service. And then in the folder, you would have the keyword, okay? You can still decide which city, you can still decide which service, and you can still decide which keyword row by row by row, because that's in your bulk file with all the rows. So let me start to show that to you so you can piece this together, okay? This is a bulk file, right? And that is that first column called URL type. The default for it is 0. That means create subdomains per usual, because that's what we always did. So 0 means do what we've always done. But if you flip the switch on, then it goes to the next thing we created, which is this folder-based approach. So you could change this to a 1, but you could still leave that as 0 for the next row, for the next subdomain. But you can make that one a 1 again. Okay? So keep that in mind. That's the first thing to keep in mind. We'll take a look at these really quickly because we can do this really fast. Now the next thing is folder type. The default for that would be 0. And often you see nothing in this column. A bunch of files just have nothing in there. It'll work with nothing or 0. Okay, may as well get used to putting 0 there though. Just to, have something in every cell one way or another. Okay, what's the folder type all about? Well, that's where we started giving in. People said, can we create our own stuff? So can we go like this? Instead of it being, like this at all, I want to be able to choose what that should be. Okay, and then maybe I don't want it to be keyword.html. Maybe I do, maybe I don't, but maybe I want it to be something that I choose, like, page name.html. Okay, so you want to choose perhaps on some rows, not necessarily all of them, but you want to switch for each row. You can like on and off switch, which allows you to use a subdomain instead of the natural city-service format if you have something in the subdomain column for that row. If you do not have something in the subdomain column for that row, if that's empty, then it will stick with the standard because it doesn't have anything else to go on. But if you happen to have something there, then it'll use that. Of course, you could also put the city-service variation here anyway, so this could be the same thing as city-service. Totally up to you. Then people said, we need to be able to go further. Folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, and then we got our page name over here. So you already understand subdomain and page name. If there is nothing in the page name, go with the default. Keyword, whatever is in the keyword column, right? See, those are just the default columns, right? city-service.domain.com/keyword.html. So that's how the URLs would normally be made if there was nothing in those other columns. Apache-junction-garage-door-repair.domain.com/garage-doors.html, right? That's the default. That's why we also have to have city B, keyword B, and even we went ahead and did it with service B for the website pages, sidebars, and everything that's not the URL. Because these three are for URLs, right? As a matter of fact, pretty much everything in the beginning of this file, all of this stuff here for subdomain and everything, is for URLs. And these are switches to flip on functions for URLs. Well, if you think on or off, you're just thinking, I don't get it, on either subdomain or the default plus page name or the default, depending on whether there's something there or not. What about the other three folders? First of all, how do the URLs look? Second of all, how does that get engaged? All right, to do the next part, I guess I should lower the font slightly, right? All right, let's take it down here, okay? The next part will look like this. These are the possibilities, okay? And it works for both the root and otherwise, because it could be like this too. I need to be fair to make sure that you guys are keeping up. Subdomain. I'm only putting it in caps so you kind of like recognize it, okay? It shouldn't be in caps for any other reason. All right, so we could have this, folder 1, okay? That's up to us. So we can have pages, a bunch, right in the subdomain, but then we can also have a bunch of pages inside of a folder. Well, it's not one folder, it's the first level of folders. So whether we have one folder, 5 folders, or 1,000 folders, they'll have pages in them, okay? And then for that version here, what do you think? This is the one that's in the domain root, right? Instead of a subdomain. So sure enough, it would be the same idea. Okay? So what would the second folder level look like? Again, it's not a second folder, it's a second folder level. Okay? Well, it's just going to go in order. If there is going to be a folder 2, it's what you put in folder 2 column. There will be a folder 1, a folder 2. And then, of course, down here, the version for that would be, you know, the same idea, right? Okay. And then finally, of course, and the beauty of that is what? There are a bunch of pages in the root. Right next to those pages, we have folders. In those folders, we have a bunch of subfolders, but we also have regular pages. So that looks natural to Google. What does not look natural to Google is why would you have a folder with a folder inside of it if you do not have any pages in there? But we do. We have as many pages in there as we want. But we still also have as many folders, second level folders as we want. Okay? And whether that is on a subdomain or coming right off the root is totally up to us. So what do you think the third level would be? Can you guess? I'm sure you can. I'm probably preaching to the choir by now. So there's our folder level 3, right? Okay. And how do you think that would look down here? Like our folder level 3 should look down here, right? So Control C. Okay, so that's pretty much it. What's the point? We have lots of places that we can be putting all of our links, okay? So we can have a format like this or flip it and have a format like that. And then we can have, when you think about it, whether you use that or the subdomain format, what do you have? So we can have pages in the root of the subdomain. That's one place to have them. Pages in a folder of the subdomain. Pages in a folder and subfolder. Pages in a folder, subfolder, and subfolder. That's 4. Plus the 4 that come off the root. That's these. We have 8 different levels at which pages can be placed alongside folders. Okay. So you can make your websites rich, multi-layered, look like a tree with branches all over it. Not like a box with sticks sticking off of it or anything strange. It doesn't have to be off balance. And so because of that, we can deal with this control easily. Now this looks like a lot of work. So let me show you how we broke it down because it's really not. Okay. All right, here we go. First things first, we have all of our stuff in here, and then we'll talk about the theme next. So if I go to the website itself, let's just start there, okay? It's got its pages, everything's obvious, we can see what's going on. Let me go back home. Now let me scroll down to the sitemap and hit it, and lo and behold, nothing there, okay? Let's upload a sitemap. Now, to keep things moving quick, I made the sitemap small, so our batch global variable file is only 150 subdomains, okay? So that's what you're going to see here. This is the whole thing. It reproduces all of the base global variables, right? The ones used for the front end of the website, but for the entire stack of subdomains, right? Now, what's funny is if you go create subdomains by hand, like right in your cPanel, how long would it take you to create 150 of them? About 2.5 hours. We're going to have this, and that's without even putting the pages into them. We're going to have that done with the pages in them, with the URL structure that we want, okay, in about 5 seconds. Okay, that's the beauty of all this power, okay, is that it is controllable. The competition cannot work at that speed, and we can. This is what makes us competitive in every industry we sneak up on. All right, like I said, we do not have a sitemap. Let's go and create a sitemap right now. I'm going to drag this thing in for bulk global variables. And it's going to create those 150 subdomains. Each subdomain has a bunch of pages in it. It mirrors the pages on the front end right there. And they're all HTTPS secured, right? So if I go to any one of these, like HTTPS, what is a St. Petersburg garage door repair shops? The keyword though is garage door repair estimate, right? For St. Petersburg. Let's just see what that looks like. Yep, St. Petersburg, Florida, garage door repair estimate. So I know that's the keyword, that's the geolocation. And if I go scrolling down, that's what the focus is. There's St. Petersburg, garage door repair estimate continues. Okay, so we're using the geo-targeted keyword in different ways. Keyword first, serving city. Down here, city keyword, right? And up there was even serving city state, okay? And then down here, if you hover over the images, then you see it in the alt tags, right? We provide emergency garage door services for St. Petersburg residents and businesses, St. Petersburg, blah, blah, blah. And it goes on and on. St. Petersburg garage door services we offer, okay? Now, that's cool. And I mean, that's all the way into the alt codes for, phone numbers, cities, and everything else for those guys, okay? So that's how we handle that. Yeah, for the sidebar items. Now, if I go back, I mean, go back to the sitemap. Okay, and I go to some other city like Jeffersonville, garage door installer. So that's for Garage Door Springs in Jeffersonville. Garage Door Springs serving Jeffersonville, Indiana, right? And all of this is about that. Jeffersonville, Garage Door Springs. However, over this is about Jeffersonville residents. Jeffersonville garage door services, satisfaction for Jeffersonville. All right, so now you see what's going on. Having said that, let's look at the URL. All of these URLs have a format. Apache Junction is the city, dash. Garage door repair is the service, dot. The domain.com, in this case, .net, / keyword.html. Every one of my 150 subdomain links on this sitemap here, all of them, have that format right now. Why? Because this is a 0 for URL type, which is the default, and 0 for folder type, which is the default. It's 0 all the way down for both of them. Okay, that's why you see no difference there. By the way, because they're 0, none of this is engaged at all. None of it. The only thing that's engaged is our default information, which is the point of zeros. city-service.domain.net / keyword.html. Let's double check. The city is Apache Junction garage door repair is garage door repair dot. So it's Apache junction garage door repair dot. Domain.net / garage doors.html. Okay, totally how that's done. Totally what we want. And if I go there, sure enough, it's about garage doors, Apache Junction, Arizona. Okay, going after all my keyword combinations times geo combinations, getting a page for everything, right? We're getting it in. Now, that's where guys said, Dave, that's all you can do. Once you create the base pages on the website, what do we have? Like 16 base pages altogether across all these, like 16. Then if you do this, you've got 150 subdomain sets of 16 pages. So you're way off balance. You have 150 times as many pages and subdomains as you have on the root. Can we do something about that? And the answer became, okay, let's see what we can do. Let me show you how it's done. Okay. URL type. What I say? I said the switch, if we flip it on for URL type, okay, then we're going to get folders. Let's just do it for the first 10 so we can see really clearly what's going on. So I'm going to close demo. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to upload it again to overwrite because that's what it's going to do. So give it about 5 seconds, long enough to sip some coffee. That's done. So I'm going to refresh this. Do you see it? Guess what? Now it went to a basic format and it's all lowercase. Domain.net / and guess what it is? The same stuff. Apache-junction-garage-door-repair / garage-doors.html. Okay, these top 10, okay, you can see it, okay, all switch to folder level pages. There are now 10 more pages in the root of the website, even in folders inside the root, against the standard however many are in all these subdomains, right? So maybe for Google, that's great for SEO. And sometimes Google probably changes their mind on their ratio for how many pages should be in subdomains versus in the root. You wouldn't be surprised. They do algorithmic changes all the time, and it's a pretty good point. Why wouldn't most of the pages of a website be in the root? For all the pages we put in subdomains, we can add more pages to the root. Somebody said, how do you add more pages without disturbing the pages you're on? Oh, that's pretty simple. I'll show you. Matter of fact, this is XLSX. I don't even need to close it between uploads. I really don't. I just need to save it and minimize it. Pretty simple. Start your ID column instead of at 1 through whatever it is. Say you left off with 2,500, then start this at 2,501. Drag it down, 2,502, 2,503, 2,504. It'll add it into the sitemap instead of overwrite. That's what it's doing here. If ID is 1, it will look for 1 in the sitemap and overwrite it with this new information in here. No matter what's new or old, it'll just create and therefore overwrite whatever was there with whatever I have there now all the way across. Okay, for row 1. Same with row 2. If there was a row 2, then it'll totally overwrite it with this information for row 2. Got it? All right, so anyway, we saw our first step. How do we take it further? Let's go with a folder type of 1 folder level deep for this. So it should engage folder 1. And then we're going to go with 2F for 2 folder levels deep for this one. That way it engages both folder 1 and folder 2. Then we'll do 3F, right? That way it engages folder 1, 2, and 3, right? And then we can just leave that 0 if we want. And so let's just see what that looks like. I'm going to do that, Control C, okay? And by the way, if you leave that 0, you know what that means? This is going to be a regular pages in the root, just naturally, right? So watch. I'm just going to do it that way, right? Okay. And let me clear that off of 11 because I don't want to confuse, right? I want to make sure you keep this stuff clear. Okay. So minimize and come back and upload, right? So we did 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0. Let's see. Sure enough, ready? Express Garage Door Restoration.net, 1 folder level deep, Garage Door Repair Service, and then Garage Door Repair Free Estimate.html. Let's see where that stuff came from. Garage Door Repair Service is the folder 1, isn't it? And then, because I have something under page name, it's using it. Garage Door Repair Free Estimate. Why is it using that now? Because this is set to a 1, and this is engaging folders, and this happens to have a value in it. If there was no value in there, then it will default to the keyword .html. So you do have total control. So far it seems a little strange maybe because you're doing this one at a time, but wait till you mass produce combinations. You just go, I want 0 for a bunch, 1 for a bunch. I want a bunch of 1F, a bunch of 2F, a bunch of 3Fs, and a bunch of 0s. And there's some other settings, okay? So you saw that for the settings so far, right? Let me show you another one real quick, just before we forget. I can bring this back to zeros. What if we change URL type to 2? Okay, that was in high demand, right? And so we had to do this, right? And so let me just show you. If I go with 2s and 0s, okay, then that should put pages directly into the root. Ready? Okay. Because at that point, the folder levels don't matter anymore. It's not supposed to use folder levels. You wanted more pages in the root. Garage doors, garage doors, garage door springs. The only problem you're going to have here is think about your selection of keywords, right? Make sure they're not the same, or you gave it too little information. You just are repeating URLs, and it's going to repeat the information eventually, or it's got to default to the same. It's just kind of messy if you happen to have the same information in all the columns. If you're producing URLs with the exact same combinations, right? That doesn't make sense. But nonetheless, if you're paying attention to it and adjusting for it, using different keywords for each of those, you can produce pages right in the root. So like, what does that mean? If I open a couple of these, right? Let me take a look at those first two. Garage door repair serving Buckeye, Arizona. Garage door repair serving Buckeye, Arizona. Why? Because it defaulted to the first time it saw it in the sitemap. If you have the same URL twice, it's going to default to the first one. And anyway, then it goes on, right? Garage door spring serving Old Canyon, because that's the next thing down, right? Okay, so that makes sense, right? Just avoid repetitive URLs, or don't worry about it because it's just going to be the same URL to the same page, okay? What do I want to do? Oh, yeah. Ready? Yeah, because the number 2, these need to be zeros. They're no good being anything else, right? So I think you see what's going on here. So what if these were zeros, right? And these did have folder types, 1F, 2F, 3F. Whoops. And then 0. Okay. And I said, copy that, and take that down a bit. Okay. And again, I would just make it a 0 to keep it clean. Okay. So you can experiment with the layout long before you submit, ping the sitemap, right? Just for the fun of it, and make sure you get it the way you want it, right? So let me minimize again, because I did save it, right? I think I saved it. Save. All right, good. Now let's pull that up. All right. What's that mean? Let's see. Aha. Subdomains. Garage door repair, free estimate dot. Okay. Garage door repair, express garage door restoration.net. Now, it's not doing the city dash keyword, except like in this case, right? Why would that be? Let's just go back and look at it more closely, right? That's because with the folder type being flipped on 1, 2, and 3, it is using these values. Since it's URL type of 0, it needs to use subdomains. Since we're engaging these, that puts these in play. Garage door repair free estimate, right? Garage door repair free estimate dot, right? Garage door repair dot. Okay. And then what about the 0 over here? 0, 0. Well, that just means create the standard subdomain. So it is standard city-service.domain.net/keyword garage door installation.html, right? And so again, the more you play with it, right? Oh, there it is. Yeah. For that row, right? Yep. 0, 0 garage door installation is a keyword. Okay. Because the folders are not engaged, right? So folder type can only be engaged with values that are not 0. And those values mean these are in play. Okay? Or if you don't want them to be in play, leave some of these blank. Now, last thing, before I forget, I was thinking what else? I could go on and on about sorting the whole thing to get folder types all flipped over to make your sitemaps look great. Because sure, you can reproduce this and just change the order of the sitemap by doing a data, like look, literally you can do folder type, data, A to Z, or Z to A if you want to go upside down. All right, and say expand the selection. And when you sort, it will take everything with it. So all of the one type of folders happen first, then the next type. And yeah, it doesn't matter. It's okay if these IDs are out of order. You can still upload this thing and get those URLs in whatever order you wanted them to be, like for readability or for your own use, or to get all this. You can expand and order any which way you want. Whoops, sorry. So you can. Ah, did I stick it or not? Anyway, I don't care. Maybe I just didn't save the change after all. Where is it? Oh, yeah, down there. Okay, fine. Save. Oh, I know. I would have to redo the IDs, wouldn't I? I would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'd make that a 1 and a 2 and then drag it all down, right? Of course. Common sense does apply. I'd have to reorder the ID column to get them the order to change. All right. So anyway, what else do I want to say? Let me just save that. Oh yeah, theme. What stops us from just choosing any theme we want for any of these? Like we might say everything in one state uses this theme. Everything in another city, a special city, uses that other special theme for that one city. This other state uses this other thing. For simplicity, let me just drag and drop, okay? And go down through a bunch. Okay, now I don't have anything past 100 right now. So I would just start back over, wouldn't I? 1, 2. I could even start with 0. 0 is the default. Uh-huh. And so 0 is what your front page uses typically, right? Okay. Because you're probably going to set it to use the default. It's, it's your default. It's probably what you wanted. So let me just show you first what I mean by that. That's this. In the base global variables, the ones that apply to the front end of the website, theme is set to 0. I could change it, okay? But anyway, let's see what we did. Did we upload that? We didn't upload that, did we? Okay, so let me go upload it. Batch. Choose file. And that's what we did, right? We can do whatever we want with our URLs, the format, right? Total URL flexibility. Put as many pages in the root as you want, as many in a folder 1 level, folder 2 level, folder 3, as many folders as you want, like literally different folders with different pages inside of them. As long as one thing is different with the URL structure on each row, then the pages will come out right. They won't redirect to other pages or anything. They'll come out totally unique. If you do have some dupes in there, no problem. Google just say, oh, there's some dupes in here. It really doesn't care. It doesn't expect you to know how to handle every URL in your sitemap, and it really doesn't care. So here we go. Let's just start opening like some of these pages, right? I'm just going to do it, okay? Like that one, this one down here, and just take a look at them, right? You can already tell that they're going to be, hello. Oh, I guess I did not change. Oh, I did. Yeah, take a look. Yep, all the themes are changed, right? Just whatever it was that I chose for the themes, they're all coming out in different ways, right? And that's what I meant. I meant that. And you can see it. That's exactly what's happening here, right? So there you go. You can apply different themes, and the color choice will stay on that subdomain. Like if I go through any of these, this will stick, right? So for Atwood, California, this whole thing, if I hit home, it'll stay in Atwood, California. This whole thing that has to do with this page, but Atwood, California. If I go to Canyon Country, California, and I start scrolling through that website, it's going to stick with that theme. That's awesome. And then if I go back to the home page, you'll stay on Canyon Country. See that? Same with it. These all act like mini websites. I could make these for different companies in different cities around the US. And I can give them different styles and different themes and different colors and give them even a choice. What theme would you like, so to speak? What color combination would you like? I can give that to them if I wish, right? And that's the beauty of all this, right? Just having that level of control. If I hear one of these, it's going to stay right there. We're in Canyon Country, right? So if I just hit this, it stays right there in Canyon Country, man. Everything is for that guy, that company. This would be that guy's phone number right here in this city. If I come here and hit something, I don't know what. That's that guy's phone number for that guy in his city, right? Just, yeah, like I got to find a page with a bigger sitemap. Yeah, but it'll be there. Anyway, yeah, wherever it is that we have this stuff or don't have this stuff. And yeah, oh yeah, that's right. The content's short. So, short content pages don't have many options on them. I don't remember where the bigger content is unless I go digging. Oh well. Having said all that, I think you get the point. Yep. So anything I want to do for these guys, any amount of content I would like to add for their websites or whatever it is, if I want to give some of these guys more pages than others, I can do that. I can literally have different global variables for every single row, relate with different page combinations for every single row with the entire system, right? That's beyond the scope of this particular tutorial talking about the sitemap URLs. But I think by now you get the point. By the way, what's a sitemap like? If you're inside one of these sections, like Nights in California, that's so awesome. Because if you go to the sitemap, it is the sitemap for that stack. It is the Knightsen stack. Go to any one of these URLs, they're for Knightsen. They are that stack of pages that you see here. Okay? And there you go. All right. Hope you found that interesting and you see just crazy power there because we can go into the themes and adjust them. We can change colors, fonts to whatever we want, or just use it with all the varied combinations. In the meantime, we can change our URL structure. As many pages in the root of the website, as many in a folder 1, folder 2, folder 3. And then for subdomains, same thing. We can put pages in the root, pages in a folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, and it is totally up to us how we want to arrange that, how we want to weight that for the entire website. And it's no issue to change. It's no issue to add more pages too, right? Like I showed you before, just change the ID numbers of the starting rows and you can create more that way. So the only rule that you have to have really for that level of crazy power that is that thing is this. Between these columns that are in use, if you're using these, and then otherwise, city keyword and service if you're not, okay, at least one thing needs to be different in each of these rows, either here or here, right? One thing has to be different from one to the next to the next. Now, I just dragged and dropped a lot of keywords and then copied them down really quickly, okay? Just to make this run, this demo file. That's why it's kind of sloppy that way. I probably have repetitive information in here, okay? But yeah, but I mean, just a little bit of thought in all the keyword combinations and the different points you would like to make, different services, products, options, whatever it is. You can really pull off tons of variability in your URLs, in your headers, in your H1 tags, in your opening paragraphs. You can match the keywords, you can match the services, match the cities, and have the related pages come off of it. And all these act like mini websites, microsites, so to speak, each their own subdomain or their own folder level. Okay, they all stick together. If that's how you plan that out, then that's how it's going to come out. Okay. And so there you have it. It's whatever you want to do with it, but you can do it. And if you had a guy on, one of your clients changed his phone number from ABC to DEF, just do a Control F on this whole file. Put in his old phone number, put in the new one, hit replace all. It's going to tell you something like it made 18 replacements. If there were like 18 rows for that guy, 18 subdomains, fine. Close it, save it, re-upload it. You just totally updated his phone number. Could you update his email address for the contact forms? Could you update his company name? Could you change some of the cities he doesn't work in to other cities he does work in? Yeah. Can you add in more keywords? Yeah. Change the ID numbers and throw some more in. And then stick them for all your other clients while you're at it. Anytime you do anything for one guy, make sure you're doing it for everyone. Anytime you do one thing for one tiny piece of a website, make sure you do it for all of them. Anytime you do something to one of your mini websites, make sure you run it through all of them in different ways that are useful. Okay, I hope you found this totally useful because it's a massive piece of control. I had guys show me where they had regular photo pages showing up and a subdomain showing up on the same front page of Google. That doubles your chance of getting clicked on. Anytime somebody visits that keyword and you happen to have two different results up there, people aren't paying attention to it. They don't, or if they see it, then they think, oh, wow, you must be very powerful. Either way you look at it, then it just increases the chance of getting clicked on. The fact that we can just scatter in keywords, scatter in locations, sprinkle them in, and push them out to the open market so easily so that Google can pick and choose what it wants to rank and where it wants to put everything. And then we can add in new stuff and change stuff around anytime we want, improve SEO anytime we want. I mean, that's the beauty of it all. Okay, hope you found that interesting. It's really a cool deal, and it's good that you followed through and learned this. I'm happy you did, because it just allows you to really pull off variability, huge variability in your runs. Okay.